What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Views from the Sideline podcast. I'm joined again by Daniel and Mitch, who has probably been on the past 3 podcasts now. He's really been showing up a lot and helping us out. We kind of got a shorter podcast for today, but there are some things that we kind of want to discuss, and we will be doing like a rapid fire at the end of the podcast with Mitch, just like we did with Daniel last time. So just kind of in news, Monty Williams, the Phoenix Suns head coach, he signed a longer-term deal with the Suns, so he got extended. And that's just another player on the list of Phoenix Suns, along with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton from last week, who've kind of come back to the team. So how do you think that this impacts the Suns?
I think it's great because, obviously Monty Williams brought him to the finals. So he's been a good coach. And then, when he came, the Phoenix Suns were like a dying franchise and, they weren't doing good at all. And I think he started coaching during the bubble season. Obviously having that good run at the end of the bubble season where they won like all the games in the bubble, but didn't make the playoffs. And then making the finals. And then this year, maybe a little bit disappointing, but again, they don't have a lot of experience in the playoffs. Like Devin Booker, like crazy to think that he's only had 2 playoffs in his entire career. So, it's another good addition. I think they're re-signing a lot of players. So if they keep the same roster, I think that they'll do great.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you look at a guy who brought a 19-win team to an NBA Finals, he's a 2-time Coach of the Year at this point. It's pretty much a no-brainer. This is a guy who pretty much built up the franchise to what it is now, and you can only assume that things are going to keep going at this trajectory. And you could probably see a championship in his future if he keeps managing things the way that he has been. And it's already incredible what he's done, and I think he's probably a fan favorite for that. So, like I said, I think it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think it's just if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the Suns had a disappointing loss in Game 7, second round, but they made the finals the year before that. And who's to say that next year they won't be back in the finals again, if not winning a championship? Because they've been a very successful regular season team. They've also got it done in the postseason. So I think that, keeping everything together like they've done, not letting DeAndre Ayton just go to Indiana at such a young age, keeping Monty Williams, having Devin Booker locked up, CP3 there, kind of having all their surrounding like Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson. I think just keeping everything together has just been smart for them because they've seen what this team can do. And it's not like anybody on the team is like they're all very young outside of Chris Paul. Devin Booker's really like 26, DeAndre Ayton's 22, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges. They're all very young players, so it's not like they need to suddenly break up at so early since the team is brought together.
Yeah, and then the West will be so competitive next year with the Warriors, and then hopefully the Lakers get back into shape. And then, in the NBA, the teams are much more balanced. There's no like one team that kind of like stands out as the super team, and there's multiple really good teams nowadays. And then speaking of really good teams, the ESPYs happened a couple of nights ago, and obviously but nobody from other teams other than the Warriors won some awards, but you had Steph Curry winning best NBA player, and he was the host of the show himself. And then for best NBA player, the nominees were Curry, Embiid, Jokic, and Doncic. So in my opinion, Curry did deserve to win that. And then Ja Morant was a nominee for best breakthrough athlete, but did not win. Klay Thompson obviously won best comeback athlete with his 2.5-year comeback with his ACL injury and his Achilles injury. And then obviously with Steph Curry passing a 3-point record, that was best record-breaking performance. So what y'all kind of think about the ESPYs? With the Warriors, like their whole comeback story in the last like 2 years.
It's pretty nice. I don't really watch the ESPYs, like kind of just see who wins at the end. I haven't really ever cared much about the ESPYs, but it's definitely good that the Warriors got some of the credit they deserve for just, it was an incredible season overall, like from Steph breaking the 3-point record, Klay Thompson coming back, averaging like 17 points per game at one point, and then obviously winning the title, beating the Celtics, you know, all that stuff was really good. So I'm just glad that they got the recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that maybe the one I was a little surprised about, I mean, Steph Curry's 3-point record was exceptional, but I think of the other nominees, I also did like Allison Felix, like with her 11th Olympic medal. I feel like that was also something that might have been or could have been recognized, but I don't know. I mean, that's one thing about that 3-point record, though, is that who knows if that's necessarily going to be passed anytime soon. So I guess you have to look at something like that.
Yeah. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna really pass it. And because James Harden is like the current player closest, and James Harden is not, I don't think he's gonna pass it.
Yeah, and Curry's still playing, so
Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna make the same gap, maybe even bigger, depending on who shoots better. And they're the same age. So but yeah, with Allison Felix, I mean, there were so many really big record-breaking, like Steph Curry, Allison Felix, and there was like
the other one
and
was
there was,
Tom
like,
Brady.
yeah, Tom Brady with passing
I'll talk
yards.
about that later, but I feel like that's one that's going to be overtaken sooner rather than later. And then the other one was Jocelyn Alo breaks Lauren Chamberlain's record for most home runs in Division I history softball.
Yeah, I never really watched the ESPYs until this year, but I mean, I think it was kind of funny. I mean, I think the whole entire show was kind of staged, obviously, but I think the part that was funny was where Draymond Green came out with with his podcast. In the middle, and he was saying how like he's live from LA with like who have like 7 professional teams and the Clippers. So he was making a joke about the Clippers. So that would have
championship next year. That would be hilarious, though.
Yeah, that'd be so funny. Like, there would be so many videos on the internet where it would be like a before and after, like the before of Draymond Green saying that the Clippers weren't like a true professional team, and then after when the Clippers actually win the championship. That'd be funny. But I think a really big thing that I noticed, Bleacher Report actually posted something very interesting yesterday. So it was a potential 5-team trade. So 5-team trade would mean it would be humongous. So the whole trade is kind of revolved and centered around Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, and Russell Westbrook. Although there would also be a lot of decent players that'll be moved around, like a lot of good role players. So I mean, I'll talk about the trade, and then we'll obviously give our thoughts on it because it's a humongous trade. So the Lakers would receive Kyrie Irving, Patrick Beverley, and Dario Saric. So it would be like, you know, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and then Patrick Beverley, Kyrie Irving joining the team, which would be really cool. Utah receives Russell Westbrook, Quentin Grimes, who's from the Knicks, Cam Reddish, Evan Fournier, so all those guys from the Knicks, and then Jay Crowder from the Suns, Landry Shamet from the Suns, and 5 first-round picks. So it'll be 3 from the Knicks and 1 from the Lakers and the Suns. Then Brooklyn receives Mikal Bridges, Taylor Horton Tucker, Cameron Payne, 5 first-round picks, 3 from Phoenix, and then 1 from the Lakers and the Knicks. The Suns would end up receiving Kevin Durant and Bojan Bogdanovic, and the Knicks would end up receiving Donovan Mitchell and Cam Thomas. So, I mean, at the end, you would have what we all thought would happen. You would have Kyrie going to the Lakers, Russell Westbrook would be going to the Jazz, Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks, and then Kevin Durant would end up in Phoenix. Honestly, it's really tough to think about.
That's like, okay, here's the thing. That would be like literally the biggest trade in NBA history if that happened, first of all.
Because you would have like 4 All-Stars or even 5 All-Stars like being traded away.
I mean, like if KD, Donovan Mitchell, Russell Westbrook, and Kyrie Irving are in one trade, like I don't even know. That's kind of really insane to think about.
That's league breaking. That's like you're seeing a whole new league pretty much after that.
But yeah. It's all one trade. It's not like free agency moves. It's literally one.
It's one trade. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because the Suns would technically be trading away Mikal Bridges, Cameron Payne, so that Jay Crowder. So they'll be trading like
first round picks though. They got to give up like 5 first round picks.
Yeah, they'll give away 4 total in the entire trade. So they would give away Dario Saric, who is injured with his ACL injury. Then you would have, you give away two of your starting forwards and your backup point guard. Four, technically Kevin Durant would go, but you would be getting Bogan Bogdanovic, who's also a forward. The Knicks would be receiving Donovan Mitchell and Cam Thomas, although they would be trading away Quentin Grimes, Cam Reddish, and Evan Fournier. But I think the Knicks would be fine with that because Donovan Mitchell and Cam Thomas actually was good. So,
but I think the Lakers and the Suns are the clear winners here because the Lakers would have Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Patrick Beverly as depth because Patrick Beverly is a pretty good player, and then the Suns would have a big three of CP3, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bojan Bogdanovic as that
and DeAndre Ayton too.
So that's not even yet. So that's like the
and
Suns
what's his name, bro? It's like the forward. He went to UNC. Kevin
Johnson.
No, it was like Cameron Johnson. Yeah, the guy in the Suns. Yeah. So they would have him too. So the Suns. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe I mean the Lakers would still be a retirement home though because they're gonna have Kyrie Irving is old, Patrick Beverly is old. So I don't know.
It is surprising that they managed to come up with something that actually, for the most part, benefits almost all teams involved. And like, I don't really know, like, what do you guys think is necessarily the percentage that something like this would actually happen based on how like realistic it could be? Like,
I don't know.
Well, I don't think
it's interesting to see it on paper in front of you and you can kind of work through it in your head, but you also have to think about, you know,
actually going to happen
from the perspective of an NBA GM.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's like the main problem with this trade is what they kind of did is like they took every team that has like uncertainty around them, like an all-star player. So like Jazz and Donovan Mitchell, KD in the Nets, Kyrie in the Nets, Russell Westbrook in the Lakers. And they're like, all right, let's just try and put them all into one trade. That'll kind of work. So I feel like they did it for the sake of doing it. As
Like a
opposed
video game trade.
What?
It's like a video game trade. It's
Yeah,
like something
it's like a 2K trade. Yeah. But imagine like LeBron was like the GM and made all of this up just to get Kyrie.
Like I think more realistic would just be like, oh hey, the Lakers and Nets want to do a Kyrie Irving for Russell Westbrook swap, and they add in like the Knicks or someone to send picks or send some players so that the salaries match it.
Then you have 5 teams. Wait, 5 teams? 4. Wait, how's it 5 teams? Lakers, Jazz,
Knicks,
Nets. Oh, and Suns. Oh wow. But the
I feel
Suns
like
would get No,
I
go
feel
ahead.
like you could break it up. You know?
Yeah. Like you could have the Knicks and the Jazz just do the trade for Mitchell, and like the Knicks would just send them a bunch of first. Like you don't need the Suns to send first round picks to the Jazz in this trade. Like you would just have.
But I think with the Jazz with Russell Westbrook, like you got Westbrook, Grimes, Reddish, Fournier, Crowder. Like that is a solid rebuilding team. That maybe it's not. I don't think they would be like worst team in the NBA like rebuilding. They would actually be a decent team. Like imagine you would have Russell Westbrook. I mean, I'm not going to say starting lineup because you don't know about Donovan Mitchell. But if we say that Mitchell's going to be traded, you're going to have Mitchell and Gobert gone. So you're not going to be a playoff team probably. And Russell Westbrook, you're not going to be a playoff team. But you know, Evan Fournier he did great in New York. You know, Cam Reddish did come in late to New York, but Jay Crowder and Noah Sherman are both great, so they can definitely revolve. And I don't remember who's on. Oh, they have Jordan Clarkson on the Jazz too. So I definitely think that the Jazz would have a decent team.
It's always weird looking at trades like this from you know, me being an NFL fan. It's like these first round picks being thrown around like popcorn, you know. And it's like you still have to think that even though they're like not nearly as valuable, these still could become like, it's going to be weird that if something like this goes down, if you look at it in like 2027, be like, all right, let's look at all the players that those picks became. And then you can finally get, like, we already kind of do this with trades that happened several years ago, but like, you know, just seeing what these players became and then being like, all right, look at how lopsided this became based on how the picks panned out. Like if they could end up, you know, Utah ends up using those 2023 first round picks wisely, those 2025 pick wisely, they could end up with, at least two, even if they hit on one of them.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? The Lakers are sending out 2 picks. They'd send one to the Jazz, send it to the Nets. And honestly, like I think one of them would be like 2027, 20. If you're going to send out a pick that's like 5 years from now, LeBron is not going to be playing in 5 years. Anthony Davis might have left in free agency. Like I would bet on the Lakers not being that good in 5 years. And so honestly, those first round picks that the teams are getting are a lot more valuable to me. Than I guess Bleacher Report kind of makes it out to seem, because I don't think the Lakers are going to be like a contending team in 5 years from now. I think they're going to have no picks. They're going to be kind of in this weird place where LeBron is gone. Anthony Davis like doesn't know if he wants to stay.
Yeah. But I feel like I feel like they're in a place right now that like LeBron is going to retire in the next maybe 3-4 years, and he wants a ring. I mean, I don't know if he wants a ring, but let's just say he wants a ring. Like I think it would be similar to like the 2017 Cavs. You have Kyrie Irving, you got LeBron, and then Anthony Davis would kind of replace Kevin Love, and then you would have like Patrick Beverly in there. Sarge, I think Sarge would be good coming back from injury, and then you still have all those other guys. Actually, they don't have Malik Monk anymore. They might get Carmelo back, so it's kind of questionable on the Lakers if they have like Irving, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, and then everybody else like bad. But I don't know.
Let's be real here. LeBron's future is dependent on what Bronny does.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. If Bronny gets drafted by like the Cavs or something, he's going to the Cavs. We already know.
Yeah. That'd be cool if Bronny and LeBron played. Or Bronny and like Patrick Beverly. That'd be funny. Patrick Beverly's like his mentor and like coaches him on what to do.
The thing is, like, imagine like Bronny. Let's say Bronny gets drafted like not first round, like second round pick or something, and he goes like, let's say like the Bucks or something. Would LeBron have to go team up with Giannis just to play with?
No. Draft to the Raptors. Come on. Man.
It's just like what if Bronny gets drafted to a contending team? Like, is LeBron just gonna go there?
Imagine he gets drafted to the Warriors, and then LeBron goes with Curry. But then they would trade away Andrew Wiggins, like James Wiseman, like they trade away like everybody. Yeah.
It's interesting. That and Bryce. I wonder if he waits for Bryce too, because I've watched highlight. He's just going to keep having kids, and he's going to be playing for the next 10 years. And be like, I want to play with my next son.
Well, Bryce is like,
I'll play with my grandson.
Bryce is a sophomore. He's going to be a while, I think, unless he gets drafted out of high school. But I don't know. He's
already almost like better than Bronny. I've low-key been watching highlights of Bryce James, and that kid is already like 6'5". He's throwing down dunks like almost like he looks better than Bronny almost.
Yeah, I mean,
Bronny's not here to talk about something more time.
Yeah, Bronny played well in his last couple of games.
He's been playing pretty well recently, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just mad that the Raptors aren't in this trade at all.
It always is exciting to be like to get one of these trades and you're like, oh, what do you get? What do you get? It's like it's always just like seeing the Bleacher Report things pop up. It's like, oh, what is like, what am I getting? What is it? Who's leaving? I don't know. It's like sometimes the NBA trade deadlines can be like Christmas morning.
I mean, okay, if this, let's say, maybe not this exact, but if like a 5-team trade like this happened, I would just go insane. Like that would be breaking. Like that might be the biggest, like arguably the biggest trade ever in sports. I don't even know. Just with the amount of like players at a high level that are being moved around. Like I think that would be just absolutely insane. If this does happen, that this next season is just going to be one of the craziest ever.
Yeah, that's what I don't. What if like none of this happens and we just get hyped for nothing?
Yeah.
It's nice to hypothesize you.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen right away. It's not. I mean, like Kevin Durant, like it might not happen during the summer. It might happen like right before the season starts, or maybe happy. Like I saw these players just go to the bench and don't play, and wait for the trade to happen. But yeah, I think we talked about good enough about that. I think we'll move on to the rapid fire. Um, so obviously, Ekamresh, you are in charge of the rapid fire questions.
It's me. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna do it for Mitch, I think, this time. So
Okay.
Mitch, it's gonna work. The format is I'm just gonna ask you a bunch of rapid fire questions, like various NBA related stuff and you're just gonna answer them. You can give like a short explanation, but nothing too crazy. Just, it's gonna be rapid. All right. So all right. I gotta ask first question. All right, give me a sec. I gotta think. All right. Okay. Detroit Pistons or Charlotte Hornets? Which one has the brighter future?
Oh God, I have to go with my Pistons. I'm looking at Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren. I'm looking at oh God, I'm forgetting the name of their forward that they just re-signed to a 3-year deal. Regardless, yes, Marvin Bagley. I'm looking at Cade Cunningham. Something has to happen with that. That's too much talent. That's going to be. I'm optimistic here. That's too much talent to go wrong.
All right. Cade Cunningham or Jaden Ivey, which one would you keep? If you had to only keep one, which one would you keep? I know we haven't seen much of Jaden Ivey. But...
Oh.
Gosh. I mean, I think Cade Cunningham is a more well-rounded player. I mean, to look at the comparisons to a guy like Luka Doncic, I mean, that's a guy who could be a triple-double machine in the future based on, his size and his ability to both rebound, his passing ability. He's shown flashes of being an all-star level passer. And I think he's only developing and he's just on the cusp of what he's capable of as a scorer.
All right. Steph, Luka, Giannis, Embiid, Jokic. Rank those 5 players from best to worst right now.
You're giving out hard questions.
I mean, I would say Steph, Jokic, Giannis, Embiid, and then
Luka.
I would say, but in a few years that could change. I mean, Luka's unreal.
All right. Who is going to be at the top of the East by the end of next season? Definitely not the Raptors, first of all. Let's say.
What? No. So mean.
I forget who's in these conferences. I don't follow the conferences.
Miami,
the Toronto Raptors.
Brooklyn.
We'll get KD.
Celtics. I think Celtics keep their momentum.
All right. Same question, but for the West.
Are the Suns in that mix?
Yep.
Yes, Suns.
All right. Would you rather have Jokic or Embiid right now?
Jokic or Embiid right now? Jokic.
All right. If you had to add one player to the Detroit Pistons right now to create a championship contender, who would you add?
Gosh, I mean, it would probably have to be.
So many options.
I would say like a guy like. Give me Jokic. I mean, give me a dominant center. We need someone who's going to be pretty much actually. I mean, think about it. Like, I need someone I need another defense, like someone who's defensive. Give me a guy like Rudy Gobert. Why not?
Rudy Gobert.
Give me Rudy Gobert.
Oh no.
I need a lockdown defensive presence in the middle.
All right. God, you made I'd like the one. How many are the Lakers going to be over or under the 6th seed next year in the West?
I think they keep their nosedive and they're going to be under.
All right. Okay, let's say this. If they get Kyrie, Westbrook's gone. Westbrook's on the Nets or like whatever. Maybe he's on the Jazz. They have Kyrie, Anthony Davis, LeBron. Do you think they can get top 3 seed?
I think Kyrie's a big upgrade. So, and I think if Kyrie, still shows flashes and he still has performances like he did last year with the Nets dropping 60 points in like a game at some point, and I think he's more of a, elite scorer than Westbrook probably ever really has been. So I'm going to say that could definitely propel them. All
right. Who's one player that always seems to get on your nerves?
Oh gosh. Always seems to get on my nerves.
I know the answer.
You know, because he always destroys your team when he plays you or like whatever, just for any reason, really.
Can it? For some reason he's retired Kendrick Perkins. I don't know why that was the first thing that came to my head.
Is that more of his playing ability or because of what he said?
Because of what he said, and I've heard that he recently runs like he just breeds like he breeds French bulldogs. Like I don't know, he has like a puppy mill for French bulldogs and he sells them for like ridiculous amounts of money.
Wait, I want to answer that question.
All right.
Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid. Why? Because he destroyed your Raptors?
Yeah.
I mean,
But Kendrick Perkins is so. Yeah.
Who's your favorite player in the league?
Favorite player in the league? Well, I would say it would probably be, I mean, exclusively from my Pistons, Cade, but from all the NBA, I would say, probably a guy like Ja. I love watching Ja. I love those high flying players like that.
All right. Well, kind of speaking of Ja Morant, Zion Williamson, Jason Tatum, who has the brightest future?
Ooh.
Oh gosh, I like Jason Tatum. In all honesty, from that.
Yes, I like Jason too.
I thought Ja.
It's weird.
I like watching Ja, but I don't.
Because Ja's like the same age as Zion. I think Tatum's a little older. So I think Ja's already like so good. So like, I don't know.
It's weird how nobody picks Zion, right? I feel like
It's hard to think of Zion when it's like, you know, I haven't feel like I've seen him on the court in so long, and I haven't seen him play at his best in the NBA yet. That's partially why. That I feel like I haven't seen his best in the NBA.
Paolo, Chet, or Jabari, who's going to win Rookie of the Year? Who's most likely to win Rookie of the Year?
Paolo of those three.
All right. Yes, I agree with that.
That's what I said.
Jaden Ivey or Killian Hayes? Not Killian Hayes. What's his name? Who did the Kings draft?
Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray.
Kings?
Yeah,
Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray or Jaden Ivey, who's going to have the better rookie year?
I think Keegan Murray is going to surprise people, but I still think Jaden Ivey is going to be going to come out of those two.
Who's the most underrated player in the league for you?
Underrated player in the league.
These are so hard. It's like general. Who is the most underrated player? Fred VanVleet.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Grant Williams.
Yes.
Oh, he went to my school.
I agree with that one. I like that one.
Yeah. Grant Williams is cool.
Too overrated.
Too overrated.
Right now.
Overall.
That's hard to think about when it's like that's a hard one to think about because you have to think about their like is it bad to say Draymond?
I honestly agree with that. I would say Draymond.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Because he's a little bit too one-dimensional, I feel like,
Yeah, I feel like he's really good and he performed his role perfectly on the Warriors, but it's not like he's like
if you put him on another, I feel like I would love to see him on another team. I want to see what he would be like on a team where he doesn't have to worry about being a scoring threat.
Exactly. And I mean, especially when he's making passes to two of the greatest shooters of all time, he's able to set them up and they're really good off-ball movers. I feel like his job. I mean, he's a very good player. He's elite defender. He's a good playmaker, a good rebounder, but like I think he definitely benefited a lot from being in the Warriors system. So I agree with that one. Who's an overhated player?
I think Zion.
Yeah,
that could be one, but like I don't know. I feel like he's still
Because everyone calls Zion fat, but like he could actually be good.
I mean, but he's worked on it. I think he'll be back.
He has worked on it.
Okay, I'm guilty of calling Zion fat from that Mountain Dew commercial, but still.
Overhated players.
I mean, ever since I mean, people don't really think about it, but like guys like who are like the best in the game right now, like LeBron and Steph, like they're probably hated more than like those guys that we think are really hated because it's just like so many people follow them that there's like yeah.
I mean, just in general.
I'm trying to think of a player who's like taken for granted, kind of.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Because I can't think of too many players other than like, Patrick Beverley that's like constantly in the media as someone who just like but I can't really think of one off the top of my head.
Honestly, for me, it's Russell Westbrook. Like, yeah, he's had a bad season with the Lakers, but like before, and obviously the last 2 years with the Thunder were disappointing. But like with the Wizards, he brought them from like the 11th seed back into the playoffs in the last stretch of the season. Played an absolutely insane stretch of games. He's always been an elite player. When like I feel like people just take him for granted. Like, oh yeah, the triple doubles. You just had another triple double, but like he's really good at what he does, and when he gets a triple double, he's usually winning. So I think he's just taken for good. Like he's hated. Like, yes, he's not someone I really would want to have on the Lakers or want to have my team right now just because of his contract, but he's definitely he's won an NBA MVP. He's had so many historical seasons, so many records, and I think he's just like kind of dismissed because of what he's done recently. So personally, it's Westbrook, honestly.
Yeah.
Final question: MJ or LeBron? Who's your GOAT?
I mean, you got to contrast growing up with LeBron versus just like the overall status of like MJ. I mean, just the biggest taste of MJ I got was during that documentary, but like, gosh, I don't know. I mean, I would think MJ's mine. I think that MJ's, I don't know. It's like when you think of Michael Jordan, that's kind of the first thing that always comes to mind when you think of basketball. Kind of, he's like the epitome of kind of like that,
Yeah.
Yeah. Take that, Ekamresh. I know you think
I agree. Like the 90s were like perfect for him because he had his shoe brand. He had like cable TV was at its prime. The NBA just started going global. Like it all culminated perfectly for him, and he was winning. So he became the face of the league and like basically the face of a generation.
I mean, you see he popularized the Bulls as a whole, and you still see the Bulls. Like I walked into a Foot Locker, and of course, like it's around here, so you're going to be seeing like Knicks stuff, and you still see Bulls. Like the Bulls logo kind of was popularized, but like it's everywhere kind of because of him, I feel like. And people wear that Jordan 23. I mean, the Jordan 23 is kind of like, I saw that in it's like basic streetwear at this point nowadays. Is just wearing that 23, that like even the UNC Chapel Hill 23. It's kind of like, his kind of brand has also become kind of like, lifestyle more so than along with, a way to like a basketball player to emulate and a style to emulate.
Yeah. I agree that MJ, like his legacy and his, I guess, just kind of like atmosphere around him is just like not matched by anybody else in the sport.
And yesterday I was like kind of looking at like MJ's stats just because I was curious, like especially in his last years. And actually, although he was old and he wasn't really known for the Wizards, like being on the Wizards because he was on the Wizards his like last like 2 years. Like he actually averaged like 23 points per game those last 2 years. So that was actually good. Considering that he was like, oh, nobody really, knew him that well anymore. I mean, everyone knew him because he's Michael Jordan, but like he wasn't like one of the best guys at that time.
Yeah. Do you think there's anybody more iconic like for their sport than Michael?
Like Maradona?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like Pele or Maradona. I mean, Messi and Ronaldo also are kind of.
Messi, Ronaldo.
Like if you go to other parts of the world, it's like, you're not going to see like a whole lot of people wearing, Ronaldo's 7 like here. But like you go to even Portugal, it's like a religion for them. So
yeah, sure. I mean, I guess maybe I'll say for American sports, because I feel like like soccer just blows everything else out of
Yeah.
Yeah, like soccer is that, like football, like Tom Brady, like tennis, like Federer, swimming, and like baseball,
I
like
think more
Babe
iconic.
Ruth.
I think Jordan's more iconic than Tom Brady.
Who?
Yeah. No, I would
Jordan?
still say,
Yeah.
I'd still think so.
Tom Brady.
Because like that whole
Yeah.
TB12 brands, like if you want to think about the whole, like I don't know, it's like that's still
Yeah.
like okay, you know. Man, like Gretzky.
No, I think Michael Jordan
No.
still.
Yeah, I think Michael Jordan still takes in terms of American athletes, he still takes the cake by far.
I think it's the main like huge thing is the fact like the I guess all the merchandise around the basketball, specifically him, is like so much easier to purchase, I would say, or like it's so just like I don't really, you're not gonna go out and buy like stuff from like Tom Brady's brand.
Yeah,
like
it's pretty lame. Like he's such a vanilla dude, and like the Jordans have become, he's collabed with everybody and their mother, and you can find, you know, Jordan ones with Travis Scott. He appeals to all this generation still.
Yeah, like Michael Jordan, although Michael Jordan has his own shoe, which like the thing that the difference between like Michael Jordan and like those other icons, that like Michael Jordan is not just known on the court. He has, you know, Jordan, but it's not just like shoes. Like, I mean, it's all type of apparel, all types of apparel.
Everybody knows Jumpman.
Yeah. And then shoes, like you just said, like he collaborates with like guys who are like even like really popular, like Travis Scott these days. Like, so it's not like Michael Jordan's the old guy in the 90s. Like everyone still knows him because he collaborates with guys now, you know. And he's still the owner of the Charlotte Hornets, so he's still doing stuff that's like, he's still doing stuff in the league even though he's retired. He may not be the best owner, but he's okay.
yeah.
But yeah, guys, I think that's gonna wrap it up today. Thanks for coming on, Mitch. It was great. Lots of debate. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Sorry, Ekamresh. But with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We're very close. So if you're watching and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And with that being said, we will see you guys next time.